earlier. I thought it was kind of interesting. Or what's up, y'all? Trendline boys. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting, and it was some really nice hold trades. A lot of what I've been pointing out, really nice stuff. We got a convergence of everything here. 500 only appeared to here. Little fake out, but boom, finally get some strength on it. There could be something on a shorter time frame, which is what we can see here. I don't know if it's too important. Let's see though. But just for the sake of things, I think it's important. So let's see. Do we really end? Okay, so we got boom here. So this is a little jamoki. This is possible. Well, I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Who the heck is trading here? Who wouldn't just buy something here? But this is a little jamoki. This is pretty nice. This is nice too, I think, because it's plenty of time to sell. My main goal here is just looking to see, is this something that could be traded with the 207 man, just a double haul. I usually throw a fib on, but I just really didn't feel like it for this. I will a little bit later, see if there's anything interesting, but I just thought a lot of this stuff looked pretty strong, and some of these uptrends were pretty just straightforward, and especially some of these times when it comes into it. So we can see here, nice ranging here. Definitely a big dip, little sketch there, but nice ranging here. Nice, and just all the way up. Anyway, so let's look at the current time where it is. We see the usual suspects. The three lines are usually pretty strong. So we almost got a hit here. I think this is good enough. I think this is close enough. I don't think it has to touch it exactly. I think that's being a little sketchy. But what we can see on some of these shorter times, or we can see this here, we can see some rejection, some rejection here, but we do technically see, no, we don't see it. I was going to say maybe this is the end above. No. So this is definitely out of scope of what I would have expected here. I would have been super short though. Usually coming down, do you want to come? Well, I think this would have been a pretty decent short position though, actually, to be honest. Yeah, I think this was a pretty decent short position. I think this was acceptable to lose money. I try to be fair and honest. You can't look at everything in the past and say, oh yeah. Um, but so let's see. When we go to the 4 hour, we see a little bit more. So we kind of see the bounce spot on the day time frame. And if we go to the 4 hour, we can see why a little bit more. We might be having some resistance. This is kind of close. I wouldn't say this is too much for the averages as much as it is just stuff coming back up. I would say this is something I would say is like kind of the averages here holding it back. Probably other things too. I don't really care. We can also see on the 4 hour really quickly with some of these. Pretty nice. No clear rejection here, which is somewhat sad, but we can see it is respecting these lines pretty well, which is nice. So let's go here in the 4 hour. So we can see that has a little pressure here. So essentially what I'm looking for here is a breakthrough on something. So essentially on the 4 hour, these would be targets. So ultimately these would be our targets that we wanted to hit for more of like a kind of swing trade from buying it down here. Usually with this thing, it'll do something on the bottom. I can show other charts. Usually 207 it'll do that. So it makes sense to buy it here. With Bitcoin, it kind of makes sense how it popped back up and stuff after all the big drops. I guess what we could do real quick, I guess because this is specifically for matic, I can show, let's see. I don't really care. I think this was the first bounce though. This was to me the biggest one. I really like this bounce here. This kind of correlated with, just to show it real quick, Bitcoin doing, I hope they don't buy Bitcoin up too much. I really hope they leave it in this range until tomorrow. But coming down to here. So this should be our first bounce on matic, most likely. I'll find it back in a second. But most likely this is the first bounce of matic when it came back up. Once we hit the bottom of the line, this was the top. If we look at 11 o'clock on January 20th, we'll probably see something coincide with it. I feel like I have to do this stuff a lot. I don't necessarily like it, to be honest, because I do it when I stream and other stuff, and it's just, I feel like it has to be explained though, because if someone sees this standalone without understanding my Bitcoin chart, I don't trade anything that's not in Bitcoin. That without looking at Bitcoin first. Anyway, so we see this here and the 11th. This is actually really nice. So we can't see matic getting sold down here, but we'll just do this. Convert this to this, and we'll bring Bitcoin back up here. 4 hour. And so essentially what we get is this, and this is really nice. I mean, I guess Bitcoin did this also as well. This usually goes my standard theory of big drops. are like big reversals in a sense. Usually it's not going to go, oh, we touched it, and then just come down. I would say, I mean, depending on the time frame, yeah, but I don't see it a lot on the 4 hour, and usually for the day and the week, sometimes you'll see in other videos. It's kind of what it's just a little intuition thing I throw in there. But we can see this is really nice on Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but really nice to be turned around. We hit the top of the channel. We want to see an end above the channel. Something like this, I think, is really good. This for me is a great bullish position, and I think it's obvious because we respect this under it. We start above it, and we can really see just how much it stays here. So I think this is a great bull position, or a great position to long. Obviously, it's not a position that necessarily makes money, but I still think it's a great entry point. I think that's more important to note of what's a good entry point, as opposed to what makes money. Because good entry points make money on average. Like if you have all good entry points, you're going to make, well, not technically not. I mean, I guess technically anybody can. I guess no, there's too much that goes into it, but generally, with a good strategy and just good entry points, everything's a lot easier, and it's the easiest way to make money or profits. And I also think the last thing I'll say on that is most issues that people have is, and some that I do personally, which is why I like good entry points, is the importance, or I don't like sitting in negatives unless I'm like buying down or something. I don't like sitting in a loss. Now if I'm buying down, I don't care. So we can see this here. That's pretty nice. Let's just go back to Matic now that we got that out of the way. So what I'd love to see for the 4 hour Matic, so essentially what we're looking for is targets up here at 2. We're looking for a break above this and an end above this, and somewhere in this area here by here. This should be somewhere here. This will probably lag above. So it has a chance to fight in here. This is going to be a pretty tough spot for it. We'll see what happens. So the ultimate kind of, we're not looking at that. We're looking at this. We can kind of see just like a, these are horrible, but line across there, you can see not really too important. It's kind of obvious. So if we look at that, I mean, we could see something. So this is the 4 hour, 4 day, 7. So it's going to be a little bit, but I think with the way Bitcoin is and the way my bullish kind of expectations, I think we'll break up into here. But that's what I'm kind of looking for anyway. I think a lot of this trading is a lot easier just understanding some of these main points. And so if we kind of go on the 2 hour, so we're looking for this here on the 4 hour. Let's see if we have a reason of where we might want to buy it though underneath. Because on the day we have a place where we'd want to buy or buy near. It's also an incredibly big drop. So, and we see the rejection. So we want to find a place to buy it next. So we see, okay, maybe we don't want to have it here so much. We're finding resistance. We can go to the 2 hours. So on the 2 hour, we also see a nice turnover right here into it. But if I was looking for another buy point on the 2 hour, I would say it's down here at the red line. So 1.588. So I don't really like where it is on the 2 hour. So I wouldn't be in this right now or be long on this because I haven't seen a buy signal or anything near it. On the 1 hour, the same thing. We see that we came into it here. It's nice that we came above it, came into it. It's still a little sketch, but I see this at times. I'm much with Bitcoin formation. This isn't too surprising on it. We see it come in here, find support here, find support. Straightforward stuff. When you use these lines and you see them, it's like, wow, you can be stupid and do this. That's why I can be right and be stupid. It's great. So we got averages moving up based on time. This one's probably moving like that. So for this one, really, if we come down, we have support only all the way down here. So I don't see any reason to have it here. To push it up, the 30-minute might. So with the 30-minute, I think it also shows how we can see some more resistance here with these 3 lines. So we see it makes a little more sense on the resistance here. We do end super up, but when we come down to test, we get wrecked, end under it, come back down more. Nice, very nice short opportunity there. But it is a 30-minute, so it's a little sketch. Anyway, so boom, we see a bounce, a little bit under it, gets above. So it's really just ranging in this area. So I do think this does have some strength based on the 30. But excuse me, getting over bronchitis. But I would still like to see this here in this area. I think here is where we wanted to see it on the 4 hour. Yeah, so that's where we wanted to see on the 4 hour. This would be nice for a 30-minute. So the 30-minute looks pretty nice. The 15-minute, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, we can see this here when it comes in, boom, boom, boom. We also see this here. So we see kind of the same patterns here. And we also see when it gets rejected under, it finds resistance. I don't like trading these times, but I guess I probably could. I don't think it's worth it. But so we're essentially waiting for this to come up a little bit. I don't think it's really in a position that it looks decent. I think it's gonna, or it looks decent. I don't think it's a position where it looks super bullish. I think people are waiting right now. I mean, I think it's gonna go up anyway. I'd have to see um, matic to Bitcoin just to get an idea, because if Bitcoin pumps up, it could be a little bit of a deterrent for matic, but excuse me, but not too much, on the basis of I still think we're going to get some upwards momentum, but based on what this looks like to Bitcoin, we have some downwards potential possibly. So let's go out and then in. So it looks like I had a line on here forever ago. I don't remember. Man, was I looking at this last year? Yeah, I must have been looking at this last year. Pretty nice though. I don't know why I had this line here. It must have been something standard. Everything I try to go off of is I try to do standard. Oh yeah, I must have been looking at this for 2 seconds. But yeah, we could even see from here, breaks a trend line. This is some beautiful movement here. This is what we like to see as whole traders, or 375, 500 whole traders. Boom, boom. Great target. This is a great example. Great example. You really just almost can't get better than this. Nice, nice. We get some strength, new high. Great. Boom, boom. Let's see. Interestingly enough, I like the bullishness on this. Obviously, this is super sketchy for me. I don't know if I'd mess with it here. This looks pretty good. Maybe another entry point in here. I do. And the reason I say that is because we can actually see something here. We do see it ending under, failing, and then pushing up and ending on top, which is, or not ending on top, but we're ending on top, but coming down after it ends on top and showing support. I think that's a really nice thing there. Nice down, down. Nice rejection at the line too. This line's definitely held pretty well. But it's pretty standard, so I'm not too surprised. Like everyone can see it, right? So here we fall back onto the line again. This looks pretty nice. So my main point here is I think a lot of this is pretty standard movement, and this is kind of just to show that I think using these lines where we are currently can be a good trajectory of where it's going to go into the future. That's the main reason why I showed it. So now that we see here, we boom, 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 fall under. A little bit of rejection right there on the 4-hour. Well, I mean, what did I call this? Not a rejection, a turn down. They turned you down. Yeah, they turned it down. Let's put it that way. This is a rejection. This is definitely a rejection. Beautiful ones too. We failed to open on top of each one. Easy, easy, easy stuff here. Looks nice. So I actually feel bearish currently. I think it's clear that we have high, higher high, and obviously low. I mean, if you want to, I don't know, let's do this real quick. So do that. Let's put this here. Huh? This is always annoying when I do this. 1 second, because it's not fine. Okay, let's be up, up. Okay. So I like doing this sometimes just to see what it looks like. So if we kind of look at it here, without looking at like an inverse head and shoulders, blah, 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 I mean, this side is, besides this sell down, this side is lower, but including the sell down, this side is higher. So I don't know if this matters too much. And just because we have a higher side over here, I definitely think there's a lot of potential to get caught in an area like this, keep that higher low, and really push back up. What I'm looking for here, really looking at all of these, is either a end on it, which we see here. It's a slightly above. It's not on it. I'd like to see it like barely above it, but the nice thing here is we do see a position to get out. So this is really good, I think, as an indicator of kind of where to take a position in regards to Bitcoin. But with my bullish Bitcoin scenario, we definitely could see this leg down, and I think that makes a lot more sense. We have a lot of we have the hulls coming down on us too from the 4-hour. So my kind of long-term thing is I only care about this if we're above this. The issue here also becomes that we then have the hull resistances pushing down. I don't think this means matic is bearish. I'm just bearish on matic to Bitcoin. But we've seen on matic to USD where it just needs to push through and it looks good. And that's kind of what I see. So I see a lot more downwards potential possibly for this. I mean, it could even come super far down. I mean, it really depends on a Bitcoin bull rush. But this is all pretty much just kind of bear territory here, especially when we're at the line and we haven't ended above it, and especially when we have these averages. For me, a position to take in here is, like I said, bear, but more specifically, it would be somewhere in February, most likely around this time. And this is a position for matic to Bitcoin. We're not talking about matic to the dollar. Just to be clear one more time, I think that's important. So we can see, like I said, we can see similar stuff here. We could see possibly we have more downward potential, but I think, so with this, I could say too that we have more downwards potential on this. So this is where it gets tough. Matic to Bitcoin doesn't look the best. If Bitcoin really does just shoot up tomorrow when we have a good end, if we can end at 37,910 around there, 30 at there or slightly above, and we get a nice push up on the week, this could suffer from that. The biggest thing I would say right now for me personally, I don't think it's worth it to be. It's worth it to be in these altcoins near the end tomorrow, based on my expectation of the possibilities that I see. Because a big shoot up in Bitcoin, you get that snowball effect where everyone wants to get into Bitcoin and out of what they're in. And then Bitcoin is obviously going to shoot back down. Not a super amount, doesn't have to be super bearish, but I mean, any sort of, let me actually show Bitcoin. Um, so really, I'll say this real quick just to kind of put it in the same video. I'll also put the comment link. So for me, I was a 4-hour trader. The 2-hour came into play here. I saw that the other day because someone told me to look at the 2-hour avenue work. Thank you. But I was a 4-hour trader mainly. So this looked like poo-poo. We can see here, these lines are all nice. I mean, with the fib, it adds a little bit more, or the pitchfork. But so this is where I went long. So this was my long position, and we can see how well this is held, and they don't want it to end. Now, if we look at what we've looked at with matic with the averages, we have a week start here, or the a week time frame start here at September 20th, 10,200. So we came under it. So one thing I noticed about these, and I like reversals, because we go from very bearish to very bullish, and we also get a gap here, which will be great to go up because that gives us a little bit of space. And I think this gap could even bring us all the way up here to 45K. I think it gives us a chance to end here, but it also does give us the chance to end here, which would be good. And I'll show in a second. So really with this, what I want to see is I want to see this end. What we're going to see on the week here is this is going to go up another 400. It's at it goes up like 430 every time pretty much. So we're going to want to see an increase, and that's going to put us around 37,900, and 10 gives us a little bit extra room. So that'll put us right here, whatever, it's like right here, and then that'll be a finish above the median red line that we have in the 7-year trend for Bitcoin as well. We can, don't look at the specifics, just look at the generals, don't look at the line specifically, just notice there's a red or it's going to hurt your eyes. So we see the potential, or I see the potential of it starting there, a new one. We get a gap, so nice up. Even almost in here in a sense, it's like here we take a second, then we go, so I think it's that same kind of thing here. We take a second, this is really all in the same range of the last candle, same as this, only a small extension outwards. So I definitely see that as a high possibility. That's what I think the week wants to work for. And then we move on to the month. So with the month, we can bring this back in for a second. And so essentially on the month, we need a 39K, I believe, moving over. So we need at least to look nice, because this is like a fat candle. So if this ends here, it's going to look under. So I'd say 38. I would like to see 39,000, honestly, for this. I don't know if the month is really going to hold through all this, but it looks nice. And I could see a potential for, I could see a potential to go for this. I really do. I see a lot of potential. So I like a lot of this stuff. Like here, like this is what I'm saying. You have to be a little bit over it, because we see when we end over here, it's really nice. And there's only so much room down. Only maybe like it's a little bit of room down. 45K, and the line would be at 43. So that's a little bit of room. It's a little bit of room, but honestly, it's not too much. And then we see here ends, and then we want to come back to it to test. And then, I mean, there's sketchiness, but you wouldn't see it on the month, obviously, not enough details. So that's pretty much it. Those are my cases for matic. Good luck trading, guys. I mean, I feel pretty good about some of this stuff. It's a little in between, but I mean, I think watching out for Bitcoin and just getting in after kind of Bitcoin shoots up, I think might be the best case.